Time is the most precious, yet most misunderstood asset of human existence. We are immersed in it like fish in water, yet we rarely pause to understand its essential nature. This isn't merely a reflection on minutes and hours, but a journey towards the essence of what it means to be truly alive. As you read these words, something extraordinary is happening. Time is passing, not just on the grandfather clock or mobile, but within you. Every cell in your body is aging, every neuron is forming new connections, every heartbeat writes a line in the story of your life. The paradox we face is profound. We are aware of time, but rarely aware within time. We live between two dangerous extremes, the consuming haste and the paralyzing procrastination. In this existential tug-of-war, we lose contact with the present, the only moment that truly exists. In our youth, we operate under a powerful illusion, the belief that time is infinite. Summer days seem endless, possibilities stretch to the horizon, and death is a distant abstraction, something that happens to others, never to us. John, a 45-year-old architect, recently shared his awakening. In my 20s, I had a bucket list: traveling through Europe, learning to play the piano, writing a book. I always said one day I'll do it. That one day turned into 20 years of postponements. When my father passed away last year, something broke inside me. I realized my one day might never come. This illusion of eternity is perhaps time's greatest trap. It makes us postpone not just travels and hobbies, but important conversations, necessary reconciliations, crucial changes. We live as if we'll get a second chance, an existential replay that rarely materializes. Hey, the hard truth is this: time isn't a renewable resource. Every minute spent is a minute that will never return. And the cruel irony is that we usually only realize this looking backward, when opportunities have already turned into memories or regrets. Time and opportunities dance an intricate waltz. While the first advances inexorably, the second appear and disappear with a frequency we rarely perceive. Life is, in essence, a succession of decisive moments, some obvious, others so subtle we only recognize them in retrospect. Anna, a retired teacher, shared a story that illustrates this point with painful clarity. My father and I had a silly disagreement about family politics. Out of pride, I spent 3 months without visiting him. I always thought, next week I'll go. Next week we'll reconcile. When I finally overcame my pride, he had suffered a severe stroke. During my last hospital visit, he could no longer speak or recognize me. All the unspoken words, all the hugs not given, they transformed into a weight I carry to this day. Temporal regret is one of the most interesting and least discussed psychological phenomena of the human condition. Unlike other types of regret that may diminish over time, regret over missed opportunities tends to grow and intensify. Because as time passes, the question, what if, gains new layers of meaning, new shades of pain. One of the greatest illusions preventing us from living fully is the belief in the perfect moment. We wait for the ideal circumstance, the correct emotional state, the precise astral alignment that will give us permission to act. This mythology of the perfect moment is perhaps one of the most effective self-sabotage strategies ever invented by the human mind. Peter, a successful entrepreneur, confessed during a coaching session, "I postponed opening my own business for 10 years. I waited to have more capital, more experience, more contacts. One day I realized I was using preparation as an excuse for fear. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There's only the moment we decide to start. Despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite everything. The truth is that the perfect moment is a convenient fiction. It allows us to postpone difficult decisions, uncomfortable conversations, frightening changes. But the cost of this postponement is astronomical. Entire lives lived in existence's waiting room, always preparing, never truly living. We live in the age of urgency. Notifications, deadlines, commitments, everything seems to demand immediate attention. This tyranny of the urgent keeps us constantly busy, but rarely leads us toward what truly matters. Maria, an executive I recently worked with, described her epiphany. "I spent 12 hours daily at the office, answering emails, putting out fires, attending endless meetings. One day, visiting my ill mother in hospital, I realized I was more worried about unanswered messages on my mobile than the woman who raised me. It felt like a punch to the stomach. I realized I was confusing movement with progress, occupation with purpose. The distinction between urgent and important is perhaps one of the most crucial competencies for wise time use. The urgent shouts, the important whispers. The urgent demands immediate attention. The important demands deep reflection. And in the battle between shout and whisper, the shout almost always wins until it's too late. We cannot use time well if we don't know who we are and what we truly value. Self-knowledge functions as a compass guiding us in allocating our most precious resource. Richard, an artist who left a corporate career to follow his passion, reflected, "I spent 15 years living my parents' values, society's values, my upbringing's values. I was successful, but empty. Only when I stopped to ask myself what truly matters to me, did I understand I was spending my life building a sandcastle. Self-knowledge showed me that well-spent time isn't what fills the CV, but what fills the soul." The process of self-knowledge is, in itself, a temporal investment paying the best interest. Every hour spent in self-reflection, meditation, therapy, journaling, these hours aren't spent, they're invested. They return multiplied in the form of clarity, purpose, and existential alignment. It seems counterintuitive, but it's the awareness of death that teaches us to live. Finitude isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. When we deeply understand our time is limited, every choice gains weight, seriousness, importance, that transforms trivialities into trivialities and essentials into essentials. Laura, a terminal cancer patient, shared insights only death's proximity can offer. "Cancer gave me the strangest gift, clarity about what truly matters. Suddenly I realized I'd spent years worried about things making no difference, what others thought, material possessions, appearances. Now every moment with my grandchildren, every sunset, every genuine laugh, these are things carrying eternity's weight. Death doesn't need to be at our door to serve as advisor." The mere awareness of our finitude can function as a powerful existential filter, helping us distinguish between what's ephemeral and what's eternal, between what consumes our time and what dignifies our time. The quality of our time is infinitely more important than the quantity. And time's quality is directly linked to our presence's quality. Being present isn't a new age technique. It's the fundamental skill for a meaningful life. Charles, a meditation master, explains, "People chase productivity, time optimization, efficiency hacks. All this is useless if we cannot be present in the moment we're living." True temporal wealth isn't in doing more in less time, but in experiencing more deeply the time we have. The practice of presence allows us to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. A coffee can be just a hot drink, or a ceremony awakening the senses. Conversation can be just information exchange or a bridge between two souls. The difference isn't in what we do, but in how we're present in what we do. Each day is a succession of micro-decisions that, collectively, determine our life's trajectory. How we spend our mornings, the conversations we prioritize, the readings we choose, the people we relate to, all these are bricks building our temporal destiny. Sophia, a retired judge, reflects, "In court, I saw how small decisions led to radically different destinies. In life, it's the same. The decision to wake 30 minutes earlier to meditate, the decision to call a friend in need, the decision to read instead of scroll, these micro-choices repeated over years create completely different lives. The paradoxical power of small decisions lies in their apparent individual insignificance and their colossal cumulative impact. It's not the great dramatic moments defining a life, but the sum of thousands of quiet moments, silent choices, directions taken almost without noticing. Gratitude possesses an extraordinary temporal quality. It has power to expand our present experience. When we're in gratitude state, the current moment becomes richer, denser, more meaningful. David, an accident survivor who nearly lost his life, shares after the accident each day is a gift. Awake grateful for being able to breathe, see sunlight, hug my children. This gratitude transformed my relationship with time. Before days flew, now each day contains eternities. The conscious practice of gratitude is perhaps the most powerful temporal hack available. It doesn't add hours to our day, but adds life to our hours. Transforms routine into ritual, common into sacred, passing into permanent. In the end, our relationship with time reveals itself not in what we accumulate, but in what we leave behind. The temporal legacy isn't measured in goods or achievements, but in lives touched, love shared, wisdom transmitted. Elaine, an 80-year-old teacher, smiles while saying, "My former students are my true legacy. Not the money I saved, not the possessions I accumulated, but the minds I inspired, the hearts I touched. When they visit and share how something I said 30 years ago still guides them, I feel my time here was worthwhile." This legacy perspective radically transforms our present choices. We begin living not for personal accumulation, but for collective contribution. Time stops being something we spend and becomes something we invest in the greater good. Time's great secret is that it always was, is, and always will be now. The past exists only as memory in our mind. The future is projection in our imagination. The present is the only temporal reality we truly experience. Time mastery, therefore, isn't in managing calendars or optimizing productivity. It's in learning to fully inhabit the now, in bringing our complete attention to this moment, this breath, this experience. As you finish reading these words, time continues its inexorable flow. The question remaining is, how will you choose to live the now presenting itself? How will you use the precious minutes still remaining to you? The clock doesn't stop, but you can learn to dance with its rhythm instead of being dragged by it. You can learn to be the conductor of your temporal symphony instead of passive spectator. Time is now. Life is here. The choice is yours. May you have the courage to live according to this truth. Thank you for reading this far. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel.